September 1943. You do not negotiate with a fascist regime on the verge of collapse. That was the rule. For years, the Allies believed one iron principle. The Axis would fight to the bitter end, and if any nation, Germany, Japan, or Italy, tried to feel out terms, it would be some kind of trick, a trap, a ruse, a feint to buy time, reposition armies, or fracture Allied unity. You do not trust a dictator's government to admit defeat. You do not trust a regime built on bluster and brutality to confess weakness. And you certainly do not trust Italy, the so-called least of the Axis, to suddenly grow a conscience in the middle of World War II. For years, this belief guided Allied strategy. The United States, Britain, and their commanders assumed Italy would cling to Germany to the last man. They assumed Mussolini's grip, bolstered by Nazi divisions, made any Italian surrender impossible. They assumed Rome would fight even as cities burned and armies collapsed. But in 1943, one man, quiet, analytical, and armed not with a rifle, but with the nerve to step behind enemy lines, changed everything. Meet Maxwell Davenport Taylor, 42 years old, born in Kitesville, Missouri, a fluent Italian speaker, a rising star in U.S. Army intelligence, and a man whose calm, steady voice made him the perfect envoy for sensitive missions. He wasn't a battlefield legend. He wasn't a decorated general yet. He wasn't even widely known outside military circles. But he was trusted by the newly formed Allied command in the Mediterranean, trusted by General Eisenhower, trusted because he had a trait rare in war. He listened before he acted. And in the summer of 1943, the Mediterranean is a fractured front. Sicily has fallen. The Allies are poised to invade mainland Italy. Mussolini has been deposed, secretly arrested by his own Grand Council. King Victor Emmanuel III and Marshal Pietro Badoglio have formed a new government. But there's a problem. Germany has 8 divisions inside Italy. 2 panzer divisions sit north of Rome. If the Italians openly surrender, the Wehrmacht will crush Rome in hours. So the Italian government does the unthinkable. They send secret envoys, men risking death from both Germans and Italians, to quietly reach the Allies. Not with conditions, not with demands, but with a plea.
Help us. Protect Rome. Save our army. Tell us how to surrender. And this message rises through diplomatic channels until it reaches Washington. And when Franklin Delano Roosevelt hears it, he says something no one expects. But before that message returns to Italy, Max Taylor is chosen for the most dangerous mission of his career. He must parachute into Italy, alone except for one companion, Colonel William Gardner, to meet Italian officials face to face. If the Germans catch him, he will be shot as a spy. If the Italians betray him, he will be executed. If the mission fails, 500,000 Italian soldiers will remain under German guns. The stakes could not be higher. And so the moment arrives when Taylor, one man, must step into a nation collapsing from the inside. This is where you stand with him. Inside a darkened plane, parachute strapped. No insignia, no dog tags, just a single mission. Find out if Italy is serious. Find out if they can be saved, and deliver Roosevelt's message. The C-47 rattles in the night. Wind punches the fuselage. Below you, blackness. Over the Apennines, over German searchlights, over a nation pretending to be an ally while secretly dissolving. Taylor checks his watch. 23:58. He is dropping into an area barely controlled by the Italian military, less than 40 miles from German armored units. He adjusts his chute straps. He looks at Colonel Gardner. Neither speaks. There's nothing left to say. The jump light turns green. You step into the void. Cold air slams your face. The chute opens with a snap. The night swallows you. You drift downhill, landing in rough terrain. Taylor hits hard, shoulder first, but rolls and frees himself. And then he hears them. Italian carabinieri, armed, nervous, shouting. Guns point toward him in the dark. A flashlight beam slices across his face. Taylor gives the password, Vada avanti, go ahead. They lower their rifles. The mission begins. Taylor is rushed into Rome under the cover of darkness, hidden in the back of a staff car. He passes German checkpoints, silent, tense, the barrel of MG-34s glinting under street lamps. Every mile feels like a countdown. 2 miles from the meeting point, 1.5 miles, 1 mile, 800 yards, 400 yards. Finally, he reaches the safe house. Marshal Badoglio's representatives greet him with pale faces and trembling hands. Italy is terrified. Germany is suspicious. A single German patrol could expose everything.
Inside, Taylor lays out Eisenhower's expectations: unconditional surrender, complete cooperation, immediate cessation of hostilities. The Italians stare at him. They whisper among themselves. Then they confess something stunning. We wish to surrender, but we need time. We need Allied troops near Rome to protect us. Taylor feels the tension rise. This is impossible. The Allies are hundreds of miles away. Preparations for the Salerno landings are incomplete. There is no way to move divisions fast enough to save Rome from the Germans. You can almost hear the gears turning, the calculations, the risks, the danger. Taylor pushes back. You must act now. The Germans are preparing to seize your army. He cites intercepted reports. The 2nd Parachute Division is already mobilizing. Panzer Grenadiers are reinforcing their checkpoints. SS patrols are increasing near Rome. If Italy hesitates, it is over. The Italians hesitate anyway. Taylor realizes the truth. Italy doesn't want conditions. Italy wants a rescue the Allies cannot provide. That night, he telephones Eisenhower's headquarters in Algiers, delivering the message. They are desperate, they are stalling, and they are in mortal danger. Eisenhower's response? Return immediately. But Taylor is told something else. Roosevelt's reaction, and it changes everything. When the Italian plea reached Washington, the president didn't laugh. He didn't rage. He didn't dismiss them. He said, if they wish to end the war, we will help them end it. But they must prove it by action, not words. Roosevelt understood the gravity. He understood the risk. And he understood history. If Italy broke from Germany, the entire Axis southern flank would collapse. He didn't demand humiliating terms first. He didn't demand guarantees. He demanded one thing: commit, openly, immediately, and trust the Allies to catch you when you fall. This was the shock. Roosevelt was willing to take Italy's surrender seriously, even if Italy wasn't sure it could survive delivering it. But as Taylor prepares to leave Rome, the danger spikes. On September 8th, Taylor receives word: German forces are intensifying patrols. A German armored column is just 15 kilometers from the meeting point. Another is guarding the road to Ciampino airfield. If they cut off the city, Taylor will be trapped. Italian officers beg him to stay one more night, one more meeting, one more chance to negotiate. Taylor refuses. "If I am still here when the Germans strike, I will be executed, and your surrender will die with me." He orders the car. He orders immediate movement toward the extraction point. Every mile is a risk. He passes German soldiers smoking on street corners. He passes armored cars moving into new positions. He passes Italian troops pretending everything is normal. Finally, he reaches the extraction site. But there is a problem. No plane, no crew, no signal. Taylor checks his watch. 0030, 0115, 02. Every minute increases the chance that a German patrol discovers him. At 0217, the faint hum of engines fills the sky. The C-47 arrives. Taylor and Gardner sprint across the field. German searchlight sweeps. Machine guns rumble in the distance. Taylor grabs the plane's ladder, climbs in. The aircraft rises into the night. He has survived, but the mission? Still unresolved, because now the world waits for Italy to act. Hours later, while Taylor is in the air returning to Allied command, radio receivers across Europe crackle with a stunning message. Badoglio's voice. The Italian government has requested an armistice from the Allied forces. The request has been granted. Rome erupts in confusion. German commanders immediately launch Operation Oxa, the forcible disarmament of the Italian military. The Kriegsmarine seizes naval bases. The Wehrmacht occupies Italian cities. SS units hunt Italian officers who collaborated. Taylor's warning had been correct. The Italian government is swallowed whole in less than 36 hours. But now, the Allies know the truth. Italy kept its word. Italy committed. Italy acted. And Roosevelt's gamble pays off. If you find this kind of forgotten history as fascinating as we do, we'd be honored if you'd hit that subscribe button. We believe these stories of courage, sacrifice, and intelligence deserve to be told. And by subscribing, you help us ensure they aren't forgotten. The Italian fleet escapes German capture. 33 warships, including battleships Italia and Vittorio Veneto, sail to Malta and surrender intact to the Allies. Italian troops in the south join Allied formations. Resistance groups form in the north. But for Taylor, the mission's danger isn't over. The Germans captured towns surrounding Rome. They establish a ring around the city. For Taylor, one misstep in timing would have meant certain death. His report lands on Eisenhower's desk.
And Roosevelt receives the final details. Italy begged for help. Italy feared annihilation. And Italy jumped the moment the Allies asked them to. Roosevelt's response is calm, measured, but decisive. Then we will break Hitler's grip on southern Europe. Italy has kept faith. Now we must do the same. And with that, the Allies accelerate the Salerno landings. The war enters a new phase. What they didn't know was that Taylor's mission and Roosevelt's willingness to believe Italy would reshape the entire Mediterranean theater. Because Italy's surrender forces Hitler to react violently, he diverts 20 German divisions to occupy Italy. Divisions that could have fought in France, divisions that could have defended the Eastern Front, divisions that could have slowed the Red Army. Italian railways, factories, and ports are seized, but they're now liabilities, not assets. German supply lines are stretched thin, partisan attacks surge, every valley becomes a battlefield. And at a strategic level, Italy's collapse creates something Germany cannot afford: a second front that turns into a grinding, endless drain on manpower. The Allied invasion of Italy became possible only because Italy surrendered when it did, because the naval bases at Taranto and Brindisi are now friendly. Italian troops resist German occupation instead of resisting the Allies. For the first time in the war, an Axis nation breaks away and joins the fight against its former partner. Roosevelt's gamble, believing Italy was serious, changes the trajectory of the entire conflict. And Taylor's mission ensures the gamble is informed, calculated, and actionable. His escape, his report, and his presence behind enemy lines all contribute to the Allies' rapid shift in strategy.
It's a ripple effect measured not in miles, but in millions of lives affected across Europe. Maxwell Taylor returns home with no fanfare. No press conference, no medal ceremony, just a private acknowledgement from Eisenhower. You saved a campaign. Taylor goes on to command the 101st Airborne Division. He leads them at Normandy. He leads them at Bastogne. He becomes the Army Chief of Staff, a man whose calm courage has shaped American military history for decades. But the shadow of 1943 never leaves him, because he knew how close he came to execution. He knew how fragile Italy's government was. He knew how bold Roosevelt's response had been. And he knew that, without that single night in Rome, the Italian campaign might have been a catastrophe. Today, most people don't remember the names of the Italian officers who risked their lives to deliver the surrender message. Men like General Castellano, men like Ambassador Bastianini. Men caught between loyalty, fear, and survival. Most don't remember the 33 ships that fled to Malta, or the thousands of Italian sailors who died resisting German takeover attempts. But these people mattered. Their choices mattered. Their courage mattered. And that's why we tell this story. Because history is not just battles and dates. It is decisions, people, moments when one voice changes the course of a war. If this story moved you, please hit that like button. Every click tells the algorithm this piece of history is worth remembering. We're dedicated to rescuing these forgotten stories from the archives. If you want to join us on this mission, please subscribe and turn on notifications. Where are you watching from? Drop a comment with your city or state and tell us if someone in your family served. Thank you for ensuring that Maxwell Davenport Taylor and the millions affected by Italy's 1943 surrender do not disappear into silence. They deserve to be remembered.